Hey, we're talking through uploading files to Planning Center. So this is how I create all the audio files. Important note, this step needs to happen after everything's fully mixed and we've brought our tracks with like limiters and stuff up to the desired level to be comparable to the original audio. Otherwise, all the level recommendations I'm going to give you won't really be accurate. So we only need to upload like live instruments. So I'm going to just get rid of everything that we don't need to upload just to kind of clean it up real quick. Just important note, obviously you wouldn't save this file because we're deleting a bunch of stuff, but just for visual sake, it's a little bit easier to work with less tracks. So we're going to be uploading, let's just start with like a practice track. Practice track is these three files, and I'm going to turn down the original 10 dB. So what I usually do is just, I'm going to solo these three tracks, and then we're going to go to File, Export Audio. This dialog box will pop up, Export. I'm going to put it on my desktop. I'm going to name it what I want it to say. And then my mic's going to cut out here in a sec while we export, but we're just going to hit save, and then it'll bounce to our desktop. All right, I think I'm back. So now we're left with this file, and then this is a WAV file, and it is 40 megabytes. So what we're going to do for Planning Center, just to lower the file size, is we're going to compress it. So if we go to right click and then encode, and then we want to make it into a high quality, basically an M4A is what that makes it into, and then hit delete source files after processing. That'll just delete this WAV file. We're going to hit continue, and then that'll convert it for us. It'll just replace it on the desktop. So it turned it into that, and then I would upload that file to Planning Center. I do that exact same process of like encoding and compressing the file for all of these files I'm going to give you, so I won't repeat that step at all, but that's how you do that part. So let's now talk through uploading our stems. So these are going to be a blend of one of the tracks along with the original track. So we'll just start with drums. So I'm going to put a limiter on the master bus so that clipping doesn't happen when I add these two tracks together. So what I'll do here is solo these two tracks that I want to make a new track with. For almost all of these tracks, I'm going to lower the volume of the original down to 20 dB. And then we're just simply doing our same export process. I'm going to call it something like that, hit save, and then that'll go to the desktop and we can encode the file again. I do the same thing with piano. Keys, sometimes for keys, I'll actually turn them up like 5 dB because a lot of times they're just mixed quieter and they're harder to hear. They're darker sounds. So sometimes I'll turn those up if needed. Just use your ears to decide, if the volunteer can really hear their part or if it's too loud or too quiet or whatever. For all these bass and acoustic and rhythm electric, I'm going to probably leave them the original at -20. And then for lead electric, a lot of times I'll turn the MP3 up to -15 instead of -20. Lead tracks tend to kind of compete more with the original track. So I need a little more volume from the original. So there'd be my volumes for that. Let's pretend we needed to re-export the original track because let's say we transposed it. So I'm going to hit warp. We're going to change this song from the key of G to F. And now we're ready to export this. Make sure your volume's at unity. Anytime I warp, I'm going to use a limiter because changing the key sometimes messes with the peak volumes. And then just going to export this from start to finish. And I'm going to name it like that, basically. And then I'll just compress the file again and upload it. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully that was helpful.